Hey guys, Mr. Desprazim again. Today I want to talk about the most recent update from Bungie and the future of Destiny. So, Bungie mentioned something in their most recent update, and I just want to read it to you. The quote is, "Content release will feature a significant light increase, a bunch of new gear to earn and equip, and new challenges for PvE players seeking some more fun experiences and replayability." So, I laughed when I read that because Bungie doesn't seem to understand how to make a replayable RPG. They really have failed to achieve replayability for the past, year and a half that the game's been out now. So currently, I shouldn't have to explain this, but just to put it out there. Currently, when you, a PvE player, hit about 310, there's no real purpose to keep playing other than for the sake of completion. And if you are the type of player who enjoys replaying content for the sole purpose of 100%ing it, please at least understand that you are most likely in the minority. Most players, myself included, are more interested in making our characters more powerful, or at least a little sexier, something to show off. I want to grind for things that are hard to get, and then I want to flaunt them afterwards. You know, I want to be able to stand in the tower and show the 1,000 of hours that I've played the game and show that I have done something that took 1,000 hours, right? Right now, if I put 100 hours into the game and someone puts 10,000 hours into the game, and not that that's realistic, we look the same. We both have gear from hard mode Oryx, and that's about it, right? There's not really any difference between someone who quit their job to play Destiny and someone who plays casually. Now, that has there's merit to that, but whatever. Remember Nightfall in Vault of Glass days, vanilla days? You used to get this blue aura around your head when you beat Nightfall for that week. Towards the end of vanilla, I would just do Nightfall just to get that because I wanted to show it off, because I knew that there were people out there who couldn't do it because it was actually kind of difficult back in vanilla days. I know there were exploits, especially if you had Icebreaker and there was solar burn on. I'm aware of that. The point that I'm making is that a lot of people, myself included, played Nightfall for the sole purpose of getting that blue flame, right? And we could show that we completed some pretty difficult content that other people had trouble with. And that's the thing. When you play an RPG, an MMO, and I know people cringe at the idea of calling Destiny an MMO, but that's what it is. You want to stick out. You do things because you want to feel more powerful, and you also do stuff sometimes to stick out. You want to look cool. I did Nightfall back when Vault of Glass just came out, and I got that blue flame after fighting through Nightfall. Even though I was only level 27 when I finished it, and I got that blue flame and I was standing on the tower, I felt baller. I felt so cool. I took screenshots. I was so proud of it. Anyway, with Vanilla, The Dark Below, and House of Wolves, for you to become more powerful, right, to reach endgame, all you had to do was find 4 pieces of gear and 3 guns, and we were done. We were done at that point. You just weren't going to get any more powerful after that. Not really. Marginally, maybe. Actually, no. Once you got the 4 pieces of gear and you leveled up the experience on that gear, you were done. You hit 30 or 32 or 34, depending on what expansion you were playing. And that gear was just handed to you on a random loot table just by doing one event at any given time per expansion. If you think back, Vault of Glass, Crota's End, Prison of Elders, with each expansion, you had one thing to do, and it was that expansion. So if you were playing in House of Wolves era, if you wanted to become more powerful, you were just going to play Prison of Elders, and that was it. And God, Prison of Elders was the worst. What was it? All you had to do was beat the second most difficult Prison of Elders and wait a week, and Varix would have a different piece of gear for you. And if you just did the minimal amount of work, 1 day a week for 4 weeks, you would have endgame gear and you'd be done. It was ridiculous. Can you think of any other MMO I'm sorry, RPG, where you could play 4 times and have your character maxed out. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And we're still basically there. You could realistically play, not realistically, you could theoretically play hard mode Oryx 4 times to get all 4 pieces of gear and all 3 weapons and be done. It's possible. You could, I guess technically you could do it even in less time. It's just, that's not how you do replayability. Anyway, and what makes this even worse is when each new expansion came out, the old content was immediately made worthless. Okay? Now, initially I'm okay with that. The vertical gear scaling, it's cool because every new expansion, you're giving players a chance to feel even more powerful than they felt for the past, 3 months, 4 months. That's nice because you really feel like you're progressing. You feel like you're playing a game and you're getting more powerful, and with new content you get really excited because A, it's new content, and B, you're going to become more powerful. And I don't know, we play RPGs because we want to do that. We want to scratch that itch. But making the old content worthless forever. I mean, that's what they've done. Think back to how, and I don't know how much in agreement the whole community is, but I believe Vault of Glass was perfect. That was just a visually amazing, very well thought out, and it was a fun raid. It was a very fun raid, and it was paced really well too. I love it. I still have these memories of the first night that me and my friends tried to beat it. Everybody came over my house. We got stuck in that stupid jumping puzzle forever because, we had 4 warlocks and the warlock jump is trash. Anyway, but now, ever since the Dark Below released, you've never had a reason to go back. It's been a year since we've had a reason to play Vault of Glass, and that's just ridiculous. And what makes it even worse is while all that content is sitting there collecting dust, there's thousands of us on the forums screaming about how quickly all the content is consumed and how slowly the content comes out. It takes Bungie 5 months to push out new content, and we're done with it in 4 weeks. Okay? And again, all this old content is just sitting there collecting dust. We're not even supposed to play it. You're basically punished for playing it. You get nothing. You get nothing out of it other than, I don't know, a trip down memory lane. And what really pisses me off is how fucking easy it is to fix this. It's it's insane. Okay, here it is. I'm just gonna make it super clear. Okay, right. Old content needs to scale up with each expansion. Okay? It's that simple. You don't even have to touch it again. Well, I'm sorry. The Dark Below needs to be touched a little bit because Crota's End, it was a little too cheesy, but whatever. I think I heard that it got patched where you can't actually use you can't jump over the bridge without completing it. I think that got fixed. Someone mentioned it. Anyway, just fix it. It's not that hard. Just patch it a little bit. Anyway, let's say after every expansion, 2 months after that expansion comes out, every previously released event gets a new difficulty. I don't know what you're going to call it. I don't care what you call it, but that new difficulty will have current light level relevant enemies and will drop gear that matches the current max light level. How easy is that? You don't even have to touch the content. You just scale some numbers up and re-release it. And right there, right now, if they were to do that right now, they would triple the amount of content. No. Yeah, they're adding 3 times more content. Vault of Glass, Dark Below, patched, please patch it, and Prison of Elders. I mean, Prison of Elders wasn't that bad, but whatever. If you up it to 320 right now and give me 320 gear from it, I can pick the gear that I want to look like. I can pick what I want to look like, and I can focus on that content. God, I would so do Vault of Glass 320. That would be fun. That would be so fun. I would love to wear... Remember how cool the Titan armor was for Vault of Glass? With the helmet with the one Vex eye in the middle? God damn it, that looks so fucking cool, but I can't wear it. I can't wear it. I can't even wear it in PvP because the stats on it are too low. I don't have enough discipline for me to use double grenades. I, I don't understand. I don't know how they didn't think to do that. While everyone's concern is lack of content, and all they have to do is change some numbers, and they won't fucking do it. Yeah, just insane. Just absolutely insane. Also, about, I would say, half of the gear in the game is trash, and you can't use it. Think of all the three-dimensional art assets in the game that are completely fucking worthless. All the blues and all the whites. And some of the older legendaries. They're gone now. They're gone. And it looked beautiful, and you can't even use it. Because they made this stupid decision to leave more than half of the assets in the game unupgradable. You can't level it up to 320. I got so excited when they announced this, what do they call it? Infusion? Is that what it's called? I can't even remember. Where you can take a higher piece of gear and you can dump it into a lower piece of gear and it'll like average the two. So you could take a piece of gear and level it up. And the first thing that I thought was, oh my god, I get to take my Vex Mythoclast and all of my Vex gear and level it up to 320 and fight or punch orcs in the face with it. And of course, I got into the game and I was so wrong. I was so wrong. And I understand initially why you would do that because, you know, some of the stats on the old stuff didn't make sense, and some of the exotics might be too powerful. You know, Icebreaker was pretty goddamn powerful. But you can fix that. You can fix that. But instead of fixing it, they just threw it all out. And now, like I said, what I'd imagine be more than half of the assets in the game are now completely lost and worthless. They're in there. You can put them on and be like, hey, remember when I looked like an aeroplane when Prison of Elders gear came out and I played a Titan? That helmet was so funny. I'd still wear it, honestly, if I could. But no, it's gone. It's gone. Because, I don't know. I can't even tell you why. There's no reason for it. Now, I understand time is money when it comes to developing games. I get that. Trust me, I get that. But this is tweaking numbers and increasing the amount of playable content in your game by at least a factor of 3. I'm actually getting kind of worked up just thinking about it, that this hasn't fucking happened yet. Every piece of gear should be able to reach max light level. Even the first piece of gear that your character spawns with, if I want to put all the effort into taking my level 1 Guardian gear all the way up to level 40 and light level 320, then let me do it. That would feel awesome. That would feel so awesome because it'd be kind of unique. Like, look at me. I look like a level 1 Guardian, but I have, 300 intelligence on it, and it's viable endgame gear. That's cool. It's fun. And again, from a development standpoint, it makes sense. You're giving the players more to do, and in terms of production and development, it would take relatively no time at all. And I understand that currently there's a pretty decent sized pool of gear per class, and I can kind of pick what I want to look like. Like if I want to take the legendary gear that Vanguard sells and bump it up to 320, I can do that. But I don't know. It still leaves more than half the gear out, maybe more. It's stupid. It's just stupid, and I don't understand it. So right there, with that idea, we've tripled the amount of content in the game right now. And it's scalable. It's scalable. And in a production standpoint, scalability is huge. This is very scalable. But, I've got one more idea for you. We can do even more. We have another scalable option as well. How about a system that solves 2 problems at once? Something that fills the gap and eases the frustration when you don't get that drop you were waiting for in a raid or endgame event. Something that gives you a reason to keep playing and a feeling of progression even when you're not playing endgame content. Sound enticing? I propose an augmented version of the Paragon system introduced by Diablo 3. And for those of you who are not familiar, Diablo 3 came out and actually had the same problem that Destiny had. People got to the end, and even though, so I say the end, but they hit endgame level, which was, I think, 50 or 60 back then, and then came the grind to get good gear. But once you got to a certain point, you weren't getting better gear for, I don't know, it could take 100 hours to get any sort of upgrade. And you were done. I mean, even that little upgrade you were going to get after investing 100 hours of time, it didn't feel worth it because the game wasn't really all that fun to play. It was fun to progress. It wasn't fun to play, which is true for a lot of RPGs. Destiny doesn't fall into that. Destiny's gunplay alone keeps me interested. PvP in Destiny is fantastic. Diablo still doesn't have PvP. I'm pretty sour about that. So what they did was they introduced a Paragon system, which was you kept getting experience once you hit max level, much like what they do in Destiny. But whereas Destiny merely gives you motes of light for each level, Diablo gave you a Paragon level. And it was a permanent level that was account bound. So all of your characters had the same Paragon level, and they all pooled their experience together to give you a higher Paragon level. I don't know if that needs to be true for Destiny, but let me finish this. So in every Paragon level you got to put a stat on your character. And there was a bunch of different stats you could increase, like chance to find magic gear, like a higher chance to get exotics to drop. That would be how it translates to Destiny. More strength, faster run speed, more gold to drop from monsters. It's just a bunch of random stuff that you could pump into your character, and you kind of had some choice on what stats to increase per level. And it was great because now when I went down to the depths of hell and I spent 4 hours all night grinding out, trying to get a better piece of gear, even if I don't get that piece of gear, I feel pretty rewarding because all of that time had a very quantifiable effect on my character. No matter what I do in Diablo, even today, even if I don't get a piece of gear that makes my character directly more powerful, I got something out of it. I got, at the very least, I can say that the little number next to my character or under my character went up a couple, and other people can see it, and that feels like a reward to me. RPG players and MMO players, like I said, they just want to feel like they're making a progression of some kind. So how would this work in Destiny? Well, I have a couple of ideas on that. Basically, we would repurpose motes of light. I would love to show your Paragon level on your character, on your bar. Because what does it do now? It currently just shows your level, doesn't it? Doesn't it just show 40 next to your name on when you look at another Guardian? That's so stupid. It should have been, prior to this conversation, it should have been your light level, right? That makes sense. But in the future, I want it to be your light level and or your, and I'm using air quotes here, Paragon level. I don't know what we would call it in the game. So, yeah, you might still get a mode of light out of it, but it would also increase this level next to your name so other people could see very easily how much you've played this game, okay? So that's cool. It feels good. But modes of light would not be this weird currency and experience fast-tracking thing anymore. What I propose is you use a mode of light on a piece of gear or a weapon, and you can increase a stat on that weapon or piece of gear by some amount, okay? Now, you're thinking, no, it's a horrible idea, because people would spend a lot of time playing, and they would make their weapons and gear way too overpowered, and it's not fair. Okay, hold on. There's a way to fix that. It's called diminishing returns and a soft cap. So here's my idea. Like, let's just say you have an assault rifle and there's four. Let's just say there's 4 stats. All of this is arbitrary. You can extrapolate off of this. Trust me, anybody can. So let's say there's 4 stats on an assault rifle that you can pump motes of light into to increase. That would be increasing your rate of fire, a bigger clip size, faster reload times, and a straight up damage increase. Okay, so you take a mode of light, you take it over to your Atheon's Epilogue. Yeah, I like Volta Glass gear. Leave me alone. And now you can increase the damage that it does by X%. Okay, so you put a mode of light in it, and now it does a little bit more damage. Great. Now the cost of increasing any stat on that gun has just gone up a little bit. So if you want to increase the rate of fire now it's going to cost 3 motes of light. Okay, so you do that. Now next time it's going to cost 10 motes of light to increase a stat on it, so on and so forth. let's see. Let's talk about a piece of gear. Let's say you've got boots that increase agility. Okay, +2 to agility when holding a shotgun. I'm pretty sure that some boots out there have that stat. I've seen it before. So let's just say you focus on increasing agility. You want more agility. That's what you're interested in. Okay, so you put 2-ish motes of light in a +2 agility piece of gear, and now it's 2.1 agility. You make it to 100 motes of light. Now it's at 3. After 1,000 motes of light, it's at 4. After 10,000 motes of light, it's at 5. You understand what I'm going with? At some point, you're going to hit this soft cap where you just can't realistically put any more into a piece of gear, but you technically can if you want to put that huge amount of time in there. Ideally, there's going to be some number of motes of light that's possible. I mean, it's always possible, but, realistic, that a hardcore player would want to hit. Right? So, like, I don't know, 10,000 motes of light is insane, but someone could get 10,000 motes of light and they would be rewarded by having a piece of gear that is, a little bit better than someone who only had 1,000 motes of light put into their gear. Okay? It's not going to be game breaking, but you're rewarding players who have an insane amount of time to play this game. But not to the point where they're overpowered. Right? Right. And of course we can go in when we're talking about the PvP where item level doesn't matter. Stuff like this can still be normalized in those games. Okay? So it's fine. So, yeah, and of course, every number that I just said is arbitrary, but the idea is that you can make any piece of gear and any weapon more powerful based on how much you've played, and there's no end to it, but there's kind of a soft cap where you'd have to start playing for like a year straight just to increase a stat by a little percentage. Okay, so it feels good. It feels like there's no end to it, and that's nice, giving a player the feeling that no matter what they're doing, they're getting more powerful, but not so powerful that it's overpowered. Right. I mean, what I'm trying to fix here is the problem where currently, I have a full-time job. I still play a lot, but I have a full-time job. And I have a house, and I've got pets to care for, and I've got a wife, but, I play a good amount of time. But there are people who play a lot, and when we stand next to each other on the tower, we look the same. We both have 320 light gear, and we both got it from Oryx, and that's just stupid. That's just stupid. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like I want to play this game more. It feels like I want to put a small amount of time into this game and get the same rewards as someone who plays a lot. And that's not right. That's not right. To reiterate, don't make players who play 10,000 hours overpowered, but give them a quantifiable reward for doing so, but not so powerful that I feel like I'm at a disadvantage. Give me a carrot at the end of the stick that I will never be able to reach, but while I'm reaching for it, I'm feeling good about it. That's what this game is missing. That's what this game has been missing from day one. The carrot is on the end of the stick, but if I reach out for about 4 weeks, I grab it and then I eat it, and I'm like, well, that wasn't really all that good anyway. So there you go. There's two very easy to implement ideas. I mean, one's a lot easier to implement the other, but if you implement these ideas into the game, you're going to find that you're going to have a lot more time to produce more content before your community starts freaking out about the lack of content. And honestly, that's good for everyone. It's good for everyone. I don't want to put Bungie into a position where they feel like they have to rush content, because that's never been good. Rushing developers is bad, okay? And you guys scream and cry and produce copious amounts of salt because you waited, 5 months to hear about content. I get it. But you're being kind of ridiculous, being so pushy for content. But I don't blame you. I really don't blame you, because while content is difficult to produce, the content that you've been given ran dry very quick. So yeah, no, I understand why you're asking for it. One more idea before I go. And it's about Nightfall. I mean, you guys just murdered Nightfall. What is up with you guys and just taking content that's perfectly good and ruining it? Whatever. I'm getting off track. Nightfall. Okay, you murdered Nightfall. Bring it back. Give me back my blue flaming skull when I finish Nightfall for a week, because I like it. When you implement, if and when you implement the Paragon system, Nightfall should increase the amount of experience you get from anything. The Nightfall buff should give you an increased amount of experience from anything you do. So for the hardcore players, first thing every week that they're going to want to do is get Nightfall done. That way they can increase their experience gain for the rest of the week. Okay, it works. And Nightfall it's interesting, but you know how you can make it more interesting is make it like way more difficult and make it a 6-man matchmaking event. Okay, so I get why you don't want matchmaking for raids, and I agree with you, honestly. Like, raids should not have matchmaking because it takes way more communication than what most people would be willing to put in. And if you're not willing to go to a third-party program and find a group and communicate with them, then you're not going to be able to complete raid content anyway because you lack the communication skills or the drive to get it done. But strikes don't require a whole lot of planning. Okay, some of the bosses are, a little bit more complicated than others, but Nightfall should be 6-man. You can make Nightfall a 6-man event because it doesn't require any, real difficult tactics. It doesn't really require everyone to have a mic like raids do. And it should be dropping gear that's as powerful but different from raids. It won't be raid gear, but it'll be raid ready gear, and it'll be unique to Nightfall, and it'll have matchmaking. So if I, let's say I got home from work and I really just don't feel like talking to people, okay, and every one of us has that, okay, but I want to play Destiny. Currently, if I want to play Destiny and I want to get more powerful, I have to get on DestinyLFG.net or .com, whichever one is your favorite, or our Fire Teams, which is a wonderful subreddit. But if I don't want to talk to people, I can't really do anything else. So I don't play Destiny. I can play PvP, I guess, but, I'm not getting that itch scratched. The progression itch is not being scratched when I'm playing PvP or not raid content right now. So if you give me Nightfall back and include matchmaking and you make it 6-man, oh my god, that would be so much fun. It would be crazy. It'd be crazy. It would be fun. And I would do that on the days when I really don't feel like talking to people because, I don't know, it would just be easy. Just hit matchmaking, do this week's Nightfall mission with all its crazy modifiers, and bring back the arc burn and the solar burn modifiers because they were interesting and made you want to get specific gear, get ready for it. That was cool. I mean, that's like why you implemented the flavors of weapons anyway, was because, back in the early days before Destiny came out, you were like, yeah, some enemies are going to have different shields and you're going to have to plan ahead to have the right kind of weapons. Well, I mean, that's not true anymore. You kind of went back on that, even though it's a really strong idea. So yeah, 6-man challenging Nightfall with raid-ready rewards, and give us the buff back to give us more experience so that when we play for the rest of the week, we're getting a reward. And give me that blue skull back. I want to have the blue flames. Yep. That's it. That's all I've got. Thanks for listening. Let me know what you think. And if you've got any other ideas or if you disagree with anything. This is a big discussion. And remember, we've got an update coming soon, but not so soon that this conversation is worthless. If we start the dialogue now, we might be able to get some of these ideas into the game, if you so choose. Anyway, thanks for listening. I love you all. See ya.